What's up, everybody? We're back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. So, today we're doing a tier list video. First one I'm doing in a little while. Recently we're doing ranking videos and there's been a lot of stuff going on in the NBA, stuff like that. Back with another tier list. And this one was actually inspired. Yesterday I did a short about the Houston Rockets young core. If you missed that, go check it out. And that kind of inspired me to do, you know what? Let's do a tier list ranking every NBA team's young core. I think that would be very interesting and very exciting. So yeah, we're doing that today. Thank you guys for views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications also right there. I really appreciate it. Really helps out a lot. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So let me explain my thoughts behind the tiers a little bit before we get right into it. So the S tier is basically the top tier. This young core is amazing. They have a lot of great players in it, and it's going to bolster them, and they're going to be really good in a few years. You probably understand the teams that are going to be on the S tier. The A tier, they have really good young players. It's not a guarantee for sure they're all going to be really good, but it's a good estimation. They have a lot of pretty good young players. B tier is like, all right, they're solid. They have a few young players that are good. Maybe one of them can turn into something really, really good, but they just have a decent young core. Nothing outstanding, but it's solid. C tier is like, all right, they're okay. They have a few young players that may be good. Nothing too amazing. They still have a lot more young players they could have, and it could be a lot better, but they have some okay young players. In the D tier, it's kind of like, yeah, they don't really have too many young players, and even when they do have, they're not that great or don't look like they're going to be, amazing or really big contributors to the team. So, yeah, and young core, we're defining anyone 24 and under. That's the age I cut off, 24 and under. I feel like 25, 26 nowadays in the NBA is more, there's a lot of established players at 25, 26. So I think 24 and under is the young core that I'm going with for every team. And let's get it started. We're starting with the Atlanta Hawks. So for Atlanta, some of the players they have in their young core, the rookies from this year, so they have Kobe Buffkin, their first round pick. They also have Mohamed Gay, Seth Lundy. They also have AJ Griffin, Yaka Kongwu, still 22, Sadiq Bey, Jalen Johnson. That's kind of their biggest players in their young core. For them, between B and C, because you do have a lot of solid young players that could be starters and stuff, but I don't think they have anything too amazing. I'm gonna put them in B tier. I think AJ Griffin can be a really good player. Jalen Johnson looks like he's gonna have a big year this year. And Kongwu has shown a lot of flashes. I like the Kobe Buffkin pick. Sadiq Bey is gonna have a long career. So you have a lot of really good guys I think are going to be starter. I don't think they have anyone that's going to be a superstar or maybe even an all-star or anything like that. But I think they have a bunch of pretty solid starter players, and they're all going to be or going to have to be big contributors to the team if the Atlanta Hawks want to get to where they want to go. So yeah, I think they're a really good B tier team. I think that's a perfect B tier team for young core. Next, the Boston Celtics. Next, the Boston Celtics. Some of their players are young core. Delano Banton, who they signed this offseason, Jordan Walsh, their rookie from this year, JD Davidson, they're going in D tier, which makes sense. I mean, you're probably gonna see a lot of the contending or top teams in the league probably gonna be low on this list, just because they're not trying to develop young players, get all this collection of young guys. They wanted to win a championship and have vets. Boston Celtics, their main guys are now just out of the young. Like a year or two ago, they probably would have been tied because he could have still had Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. But now those guys have aged out of the young core tier, so now their best young player is probably like Delano Banton. So yeah, D tier, but they're trying to win a championship, so that's fine. Next, the Brooklyn Nets. So for the Nets, their big one is Nick Claxton. He's still 24, so he just qualifies. Cam Thomas as well, he's still 22. Lonnie Walker somehow still qualifies. He's 24 as well, so is Darius Bazley, 23. And then the rookies from this year, so they have Noah Clowney, Dariq Whitehead, Jalen Wilson. They also have Trendon Watford in there. So they have okay. I'm going to put them in the B tier as well. I feel like Nick Claxton really is the best player out of that bunch. Of course, starter, all defensive level center. After that, you have a lot of Cam Thomas potentially can be a star. I did an eval video on him. You go back and watch that. Their rookies are going to be solid. I don't think they're going to be superstars, but the rookies like Noah Clowney, Dariq Whitehead, I think are going to have decent careers. Yeah, they have a solid young core. They don't have anything that's going to blow you away, but they have some pretty solid guys. So I think B tier is pretty good for them. Now the Hornets. So the Hornets, they have a lot of players. They have LaMelo is a big one. He's still just 22. Mark Williams is 21. Of course, their first overall pick, Brandon Miller, is 20. Nick Jr. 19. They have some good players in there. You know, not all of them are good. They also have guys like James Bouknight, JT Thor, Dale Maladon, who probably aren't going to be around so far for too long in the NBA. But having LaMelo, a guy already solidified as their franchise guy, Mark Williams is going to be a really good starting center. Brandon Miller is the number 2 overall pick. We don't know what he's going to be like yet. But considering that, I'm going to have to put him in the A tier. You know, just honestly, mostly based just because they have LaMelo Ball. Like, just because they have LaMelo, that's super. He's already like a top, like an all-star level player. That should be good up there. Mark Williams and Brandon Miller. Really good. Nick Smith Jr. as well. Mari Bailey is another rookie they had this year. Yeah, guys like Bryce McGowan, who I think is going to be solid. Like, they have a bunch of solid players. They also have some misses in there as well. Some guys that, again, probably aren't going to be around in the league that long. But based off the top they have, is really good. You know, so I'll go A tier. Now the Bulls. The Bulls, the highlights of their young core, Patrick Williams, Kobe White, and Ayo Dosunmu. After that, you got Julian Phillips, Dalen Terry, who was a first-round pick last year. It's not great. The only thing that I think saves them from being in the D tier is that Patrick, Kobe White, and Ayo Dosunmu have shown that they can be solid NBA players. So I think that's the only thing that saves them from being in the D tier. If those guys didn't show anything yet, they would be D tier, no question. Because it's not great, the young core, but because they have 2 or 3 solid NBA players, I think C tier is solid for them. The Cavs. So the Cavaliers, honestly, it's really 2 that carry hard, and that's Darius Garland and Evan Mobley. Darius Garland's still 23, Mobley's 22. Both of those guys are all-star, going to be stars in their careers. After that, you got Isaac Okoro, who is okay. You have Amani Bates, who's 19, a second-round pick. And then after that, it's not that good. So this is interesting because they have 2 really, really good ones. But after that, the rest of like the 5 or 6 are like not good. So that's interesting how we rank teams like that, where they have like 1 or 2 that are amazing, but then the rest of them just aren't great. I think for them, they have to go in A tier. If they had one more player that was really, really good, there would be S. But I think because they have Garland and Mobley, who are gonna be great. But after that, and they're gonna be the future. But then after that, the rest of those guys are like, most of them aren't gonna make it in the league. Like Sharif Cooper, like Zaire Smith, like those guys aren't really gonna make it. Amani Bates is a big question. Isaac Okoro hasn't been great so far, but he's still a question mark. You know, Isaiah Mobley is a question mark. So I think A, just Darius and Evan Mobley, those 2 guys already were on my top 50 players. If you missed it, go back, watch the top 50 players. Like, both of those guys are on my list, top 50 players. Both of those guys are. Darius is an all-star, and Mobley's gonna be a star. Like, those 2 are gonna carry hard. Next, the Dallas Mavericks. So for Dallas, Luka is still 24, so Luka still counts. So him automatically have to be up here. But then you have some other decent guys. You got Josh Green, you got Jaden Hardy, Derek Lively, Olivier Maximus Prosper, Grant Williams still qualifies for the list. Like, honestly, it's better than I thought. They might be A too. Most of it because of Luka. Luka by himself has to be high on the list. But they also have like 2 or 3 other guys that already can. Josh Green, Grant Williams, Jaden Hardy can contribute right now. Derek Lively and Olivier Maximus Prosper are rookies. They still haven't played an official NBA game yet, but they look like they're going to be pretty good players. So for the future, I think they'll be up here. But I think for now, because some of the guys are still a little bit unproven, they have to be A. But Mavericks got good. It's good. Now the Nuggets. Now we have the Nuggets. The Nuggets is solid. So they have Christian Brown. They have their rookies from this year, so Julian Strother, Hunter Tyson, Jalen Pickett. They have Zeke Naji still in there, Peyton Watson as well. So they have some solid young players. You know, I think they're between B and C because they do have a bunch of solid young players I think are going to be good contributing role players. but compared to some other teams, it's not like I would probably. I might pick the Nets young core with them just because they have Nick Claxton and Cam Thomas in them. Them and the Hawks, that's interesting. I feel like the Hawks players are a little bit more, well, I can't even say proven because Jalen Johnson still has to show, AJ Griffin still has to show. I'm going to put the Nuggets in BT. Thing is, the Nuggets don't have one. The Nets, Nick Claxton's the proven guy. The Hawks, Sadiq Bey is the proven. Like, I feel like the Nuggets don't have a proven guy. Like Christian Braun, we think, but still, he's still in his second year. He's not proven yet. So I think I have to put him in. I think they're way better than the Bulls' young core too, though. But I'm gonna put him in C. I feel like they don't have a proven guy yet, but I think eventually they're gonna be higher up in the tier. But I don't, like all their guys aren't proven yet, you know. But I like their young core. I think Christian Braun and Payne Watson, I'm projecting them to have good years. Julian Strawther, one of my favorite draft prospects. He's been showing off in preseason. Love that. I think he's gonna be really, really good. And they have like one or two other players I think are gonna be solid, but it's just they haven't shown it yet. You know, they're still, most of them are rookies, and next year's gonna be their first time really getting real NBA minutes. So yeah. Next, Detroit. Now the Detroit Pistons. So starting off with Cade Cunningham already is really good, but they have a lot. They have quantity as well. They have they're probably, I don't know who the youngest team is, but I would guess they're somewhere in the mix there. They have quantity, but they also have quality. Cade Cunningham, we all know, I think, projecting he's going to be a really good player. He's number one overall pick. Jalen Duren, we project him. He's going to be a really, really good big man. Jaden Ivey, still improving. I did another evals video about him. Go check that out. But I think he's going to be pretty good. Asar Thompson's already shown that he's going to be pretty good. You know, the other rookies like Marcus Sasser, who they drafted, who I think is solid. James Wiseman and Marvin Bagley have shown some things. They're still 23, 24. Killian Hayes is still on the team. He's been doing good preseason. Like, they have a lot. I think they have to go S tier. You know, just simply based off the Cade, Asar, and Duren thing, I think already. Those are three. So, of course, Asar hasn't played a game in the NBA. Jalen Duren, this year is probably going to be his first time really getting starter, big minutes. But I think we can count on those three guys already kind of being, you know, in there. They're going to be good. You know, and then everything that comes after that, like if Jaden Ivey booms like I think he's going to boom, if Killian Hayes can become something decent, if even one of Marvin Bagley or James Wiseman becomes solid, like this is going to be a really, really good team. That's going to bolster their future. So I think they have to go in S. Now the Warriors. So for the Warriors, their main young core, they have Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, 2 lottery picks a few years ago. And then they also have the rookies from this year, so they have Brandon Podziemski, Tracy Jackson Davis. The thing is, they should be higher, but I have to go and see because they haven't improved. Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody were in the rotation sometimes last year, but lost kind of the trust of Steve Kerr, especially Jonathan Kuminga. Top 10 pick. He's shown a lot of potential this preseason, doing good. So it looks like this year he's going to get some actual minutes and see what he can do. Moses Moody, I think, is going to be solid, but he just hasn't shown it yet. And then, of course, Brandon Podziemski, Trace Jackson Davis, they still haven't played an official NBA game yet. I think they're both going to be decent, but I don't think they're anything game-changing, you know? Like, so I think for them, they have to go and see. Now the Rockets. The inspiration behind this video, the Rockets. You got Jalen Green, the number 2 overall pick a few years ago, that's already been really, really good in his career. Jabari Smith Jr., number 3 overall pick from last year that took some time, but last year, the end of his rookie year, he's shown flash. Then in Summer League, he was really good. And so far, the preseason look really good, so it looks like he's going to have a pretty big year. You have Tari Eason, who I love. I think he's going to be a really, really good player in the league. Alperen Sengun, who's shown a lot of flashes, and people think this year he could take another step, have a breakout year, and be a breakout player at some point. Then the rookies, Amen Thompson, the 4th overall pick, who I think is just going to be really good. And then be able to get Cam Whitmore at 20. He was projected top 5 pick. You got him at the 20. Went off in Summer League. So far in the preseason, like, they have to be S tier, which is amazing how the Rockets have brought. Of course, now this is S tier based on the names and the talent and the quantity they have. I think is S tier. Now, still proven. They still have to prove it. Just like the Pistons, they still have to prove. Cade Cunningham still has to prove that he has a next level. Asar still has to prove. Jaden Duren, a lot of people still have to prove it, obviously. and they're above some teams like the Mavericks and like Cavs, who Darius Garland and Evan Mobley have proved they're going to be good. Luka is a top 5 player in the NBA, you know. So you can say that Cavs Mavs should be higher because they have proven players, but the Rockets, the quantity that they have, like, they have so much. They built this great team, you know, and they've already had a lot of flashes shown by their young players that they're going to be good. They still have to put it all together. They still have to win some games and prove that they can be up here this high. But I think just looking at the names and the roster now right now, I love it. I love it a lot. So for them, that's why they're S tier to me. Now the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers leading off with Tyrese Halliburton, who's an all-star, going to be really good. That's great. Bennedict Mathurin, who's shown last year in his rookie year, he made all-rookie team. He's going to be very, very good. Andrew Nembhard, a surprise rookie last year, who had a very good season. And then you have the rookies from this season, so Jarace Walker, who I think is just going to fit perfectly with Indiana. He's going to have a great career. Isaiah Wong, second-round pick late. They had Ben Shepherd, a first-round pick, who shot up the ranks as a mid-ranger guy. Like, they have some pretty solid. They have Isaiah Jackson still in there as well. Aaron Nesmith still counts kind of as young core. Obi Toppin does not count. Obi Toppin is 25 now, so he does not count according to my standards. But I think it's really good. The thing is, do I put an S tier? Because they have Tyrese, who's already proven he's a all-star. Bennedict Mathurin, all-rookie team. Andrew Nembhard, I don't know if he made all-rookie, but I know Andrew Nembhard was really, really good. So they have some things, obviously, but I don't know if they have as much as the Rockets and Pistons. So I think I'm gonna put them in A tier. I'm putting them A. Kind of similar to like the Mavericks, where they have Luka is high, and then everyone else is like, all right, they're good, but they have another level. I haven't seen the level yet, they can reach, and they still got some work to do. But very, very excited for the Indiana Pacers. Next, the Clippers. So the Clippers, the highlights of their young core is Kenyon Martin Jr. and Bones Highland, who are two solid NBA players. After that, though, big question marks. They drafted Kobe Brown with their first round pick this year, which was a reach I can't even say a reach because it was the 30th overall pick, but very surprising. Jordan Miller, who they got late in the draft too, I think I really liked at Florida. They have Brandon Boston Jr., who hasn't really shown much, got an opportunity to show much yet. It's between C and D because they do have Kenyon Martin Jr. and Bones Highland, I think, are solid. I really like Kenyon Martin Jr. He's going to be a really good role player. Bones Highland has shown some things. But then after that, it's like, and also the big thing that I think makes them low is because besides Kenyon Martin Jr., I don't think any of those guys are going to really contribute. Like, Bones Highland is going to play, but I don't think he's going to be a big contributor. The rookies probably aren't really going to play. Brandon Boston, at this point, he's been in the league for 2 years. He hasn't played yet. I don't think he's going to get a chance. So I think I have to put him in D, just because they're not really going to be a big part of the team. And really only one of them, Kenyon Martin Jr., who is good. He's going to be a really good role player, but he's not going to be anything like an all-star, So I think I have to put the Clippers in D, even though they do have more than maybe like the Bulls and them like that. Like, they're not really going to contribute, So I think I got to put them in D. Right now for the Lakers, so their big names of young core, Cam Reddish and Jared Vanderbilt somehow still qualify. Young core at 24. You have Max Christie, their second round pick last year, Stone Flashes. Their rookies this year, Jalen Hood-Schifino, Maxwell Lewis. You have Jackson Hayes, who they signed as well, who's a part of the young core. So it's solid. I would put them in C. I would put them in C because they do have some things that potentially could be good. They have Cam Reddish, Jackson Hayes are going to be rotational players that could be solid. Max Christie maybe could have a role. The only thing that could maybe talk me into D tier is that similar to the Clippers, where a lot of them probably aren't gonna. A lot of them are unproven. Most of them are unproven. Cam Reddish and Jackson Hayes still haven't proved too much. They still have, some things to work on. Jared Vanderbilt is a solid NBA player, but a lot of those guys still have a lot to prove. A lot of those guys aren't guaranteed minutes. Jalen Hood-Schifino, Max Christie, they say we think they're gonna be good, but how long are they gonna take for them to really play? Especially because the Lakers are trying to compete and win a championship with LeBron and AD. But I think but I think I'll put them in C just because I like them a lot better than the Celtics. Like, compare them to the Clippers and the Celtics young core, I like the Lakers a whole lot better. You know, like, even compared to the Bulls, I like the Lakers young core similar to the Bulls. You know, so I would put them in C. Now the Grizzlies. So for the Grizzlies young core already starts off with Jaren and Ja. Both are 24. So they both still technically qualify for the young core. So that's pretty good. But after that, you have some solid players. You have Santi Aldama, who's 22, who's been solid. David Roddy's 22. I also did an evals video on him. You can go check that one out. They have Zaire Williams. Still don't know what he's really going to be at, but he's solid. They have their rookies. They have Gigi Jackson, who they drafted, the youngest player in the league. Still have guys like Jake LaRavia, Xavier Tillman, which I don't know. How is Xavier Tillman still 24? I don't know. I feel like he should be 29. I don't know how he's still 24. Kenny Lofton Jr. Like, they have some good things. I feel like because I put the Mavericks and Cavs in A, I have to put the Grizzlies in A too. Because I feel like it's a similar thing where they already have like one or two proven guys. But then after that, they have a lot of guys that could be solid, but we don't know yet. You know, while the Pistons and Rockets, even though a lot of their guys are still very young and unproven, they have a lot of guys. They have quantity, and they have a lot of guys that, you know, I think it's hard to explain it because I'm saying these guys aren't proven, but I'm putting them in A, but I'm also putting the Pistons and Rockets in A, S, even though all their guys are still second and third year players and are unproven. But I don't know, it's different to me. Like, it's different. Like, I could put the Grizzlies in S just because they do have Jaren and Ja, who are two all-stars. Ja's a superstar, you know, and already that just takes them to the next level. I could put Mavericks in S just because Luka's already a top 5 player in the NBA. And all that stuff. I could put Cleveland S because they have Darius and Evan Mobley, because they're already like really good all-star level players. Even though the Pistons and Rockets haven't had any of those guys be all-stars yet. Like, I don't know how to explain it. That's the thing. The only way I can kind of explain it in a way is like, you can tell, which isn't a great argument, honestly. Like, you can tell, but looking at the names and stuff, and also thinking about, like, this is right now, before the season starts, this is right now, you know, like, maybe in another month or two, we can see, all right, the Pistons aren't really putting it together. A lot of their guys I thought were going to be good aren't going to be good, so they're not as great. This is a little bit of a projection for a few of these teams. Also being in the right now, but also what I think they're going to do this season a little bit as well. It's like, I think the Pistons and Rockets, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs or anything, but I think a lot of these young guys are going to take steps and be pretty good, and I feel like they have to for these teams to be good. You know, for Cleveland, Dallas, Memphis, teams that already are playoff teams, already have kind of solidified guys in there, I kind of know where I'm going to get already. You know, I know what I'm going to get from one or two guys from their team. It's just who's coming. If anyone comes after, like if the Cavs, if Isaiah Okoro becomes solid, if Lonnie Bates somehow becomes a rotation player for Dallas, if like Josh Green, Jane Hardy, if Derek Lively for the Grizzlies, if David Roddy and Jake LaRavia, Santi Aldama, Zaire Williams, like if they take steps, that makes them S tier. You know. So yeah, this is really a projection. Also, what I think is gonna happen, and maybe this can be one of those things where we come back another few months and do this list again, and a lot of these things will be changed, you know, but yeah, that's the only way I can kind of explain it. Now for the Heat. So for the Heat, this is an interesting one. They have Tyler Hero, who's 23, who's already really good. So that brings it up. But then after that, you got Jaime Jaquez, who I think is going to be solid. Nikola Jovic. You have Orlando Robinson. You have Jamal Cain, RJ Hampton. That's the young core, which I think it's got to go C. Even though they do have Tyler Hero, who's already proven himself is really pretty good. After that, a lot of those guys are unproven. A lot of those guys, looking at where you're projecting them to be, it's a long shot. Like Jaime Jaquez, I think he's gonna be solid. You know, Nikola Jovic, we still don't know. Jamal Cain, RJ Hampton, like those guys, we can't really see them being like they could, but realistically, we don't really see them being huge contributors to the team's success. You know what I mean? Like they're still a team trying to fight for a championship and have Jimmy Bam, like older guys. You know, so I think for them I have to go C. Now the Bucks. So the Bucks, I think we know where this is going. Their highlight, Marjon Beauchamp, is their highlight young core player, who I think should get a chance for rotation. I've said this a few times. After that, you got their rookies. So they have Andre Jackson, Chris Livingston. Amari Moore is a two-way undrafted guy. Yeah, they're D tier, which makes sense. They're trying to win a championship. They're Giannis and Dame. You know, they're trying to develop young players. So D tier makes sense to them. The Timberwolves. Now the Timberwolves. So they're led by Anthony Edwards. So that's automatically at least an A. Then you have Jaden McDaniels and Naz Reid, two other really good players in there. They're kind of have to do the same thing as Dallas. Like, if I'm doing it with this team, I have to do with them Timberwolves as well. You know, like, I think they have a really good Anthony Edwards, obviously already All-Star. I think he's probably gonna be a superstar. Jaden McDaniels and Naz Reid, good NBA players as well. After that, you got a lot of question marks of guys that maybe could do something. Guys like Jalen Clark, Josh Minott, Wendell Moore. You know, guys like Leonard Miller. But what they already have is pretty good. A tier. Pelicans. Now we have the Pelicans. So they're led by Zion, obviously already established, really good guy. After that, you got Trey Murphy, who's going to be really good. You have Jordan Hawkins, Dyson Daniels, Kyra Lewis still is in there. It's pretty good. I think they have to go A as well. They already have an established guy in Zion. Trey Murphy at the least is going to be a really good role player. If you get anything more than that, that's going to be crazy. Jordan Hawkins are still Dyson Daniels are still question marks, but you think they're going to be solid contributors. They're all going to probably play a big role on the team as well, so that's why they also go into A tier for me. New York. Now the Knicks, their highlights, they have RJ Barrett, Quentin Grimes, Emmanuel Quickley, Jericho Sims. I think they're a really good B tier. They don't have the quality, and they don't have an established star player like the teams in the A tier do, but they have a few really good. RJ Barrett is a good starter. Emmanuel Quickley is one of the best six men. You know, Quentin Grimes is a starter. Like, they have some really good things. They don't have anything that's going to blow you out of the water, like superstar, but all good players, and they all contribute. You know, they're all rotational players. So I think they're perfect B tier in there. The Thunder, I don't even have to name them. They're S. Shea, Giddey, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren. Yeah. We don't have to talk about the S tier. Magic. All right, Orlando. Now you have Paolo and Franz are the main headlines. Then after that, man, you got Wendell Carter, Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs, Anthony Black, Jet Howard. They might have to be S tier, man. Because I'm thinking if I put the Pistons and Rockets in S tier, the Magic are on that level. I think the Magic are on that level, so I think they have to go in S tier as well. You know, Paolo and Franz, I think we already know Paolo's probably going to be a really good player. Franz is going to be a really good player. Wendell Carter's already a really solid starter. Cole Anthony's been a good six-man. Jalen Suggs, we don't know yet. Maybe he could have a breakout year. Anthony Black, Jet Howard. Like, they just have so much. And they're all going to be key contributors to the team. And, you know, I've been a big supporter of Orlando Magic. I've been a big guy saying that I think this year the Magic are going to be really good and they might make the playoffs. So I think they have to go S if I put these teams in S. Philly. So Philly, really, you have Tyrese Maxey, who really, really good. That's it. After that, you got Jaden Springer, Ricky Council, Philip Petrus. Like, so how do we get? Because Tyrese is arguably the third or second best player on the team. But then after that, it's not. None of those guys are going to be getting minutes. So we might have to put them in D, even though they have Tyrese. It's tough because they have one really good one, and then like the other six are like not going to play. So how do you get? It's similar to Miami, but Miami they have Jaime Jaquez as well, which I think brings them up a little bit. Nikola Jovic, like at least they have guys that were first round picks, you know, that can still show something. Like Philly's guys, like are either second round picks or undrafted guys, except for Jaden Springer. But Jaden Springer's been in the league for 7 years and hasn't played, so I don't think he's gonna do much. So I think I'm gonna have to put him in D, even though they do have Tyrese. I think I'm gonna have to put him in D, even though they have Tyrese. Phoenix. So Phoenix, the headliners of the young core: Nasir Little, Bobo, Saben Lee, Jordan Goodwin. It is D tier. It is D tier. Even though I like Nasir Little, I like Jordan, I like some of those guys. Realistically, a lot of those guys, like Nasir Little might play. Bobo maybe could play. Jordan Goodwin might play. a little bit. But none of those guys are going to be, once the playoffs come, those guys aren't going to be in the rotation. Unless Nasir Little has a big, or one of those guys has a big season and does great things. But realistically, those guys are going to play. None of those guys, even at their highest potential, are going to be like, at the highest potential, Nasir Little could be a solid starter, maybe. But like after that, like none of those guys are really going to be hugely difference makers. So I think they have to go in D. Portland, the Blazers, their headliners, Scoot, obviously number 3 pick in the draft. Anthony Simons still qualifies at 24 years old. Shane Sharp are the main ones. And you also have guys like Chris Murray, Ryan Repair, the rookies from this year. Jabari Walker, pick from last year. That DeAndre and Robert Williams both do not qualify. They're both 25, so they both do not qualify. If those two qualified, they probably would have been S tier locked. But I'm gonna have to put him in A. Even though Scoot, we all think he's gonna be amazing. Anthony Simons, I love Anthony Simons. Shane Sharp, we think is gonna be solid. I don't know. There's something holding me back from putting him in S with the Pistons and Rockets and the Magic. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's too put together right now that we haven't really seen them play. Like, imagine we seen play last year. Thunder we're 1 win away from playoff. The Rockets, well, I kind of say the same thing for the Rockets, where they kind of put a star and Amen and Cam just came in now, but Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, and Shinglin have been playing for a little bit. Pistons, we've seen Durant, Ivy last year. We've seen K. Like, we've seen them. Blazers, only really seen Anthony Simons, and we've seen a little bit of Shaden Sharp. We haven't seen Scoot. Like, we haven't seen him yet. So I think I have to put him in A. I don't know. It's probably not. I feel like my arguments for this video, putting them, are like really weird to me. But it's just, I don't know. This is just what I feel. It's honestly what I feel. Like, I feel like I can't really put Portland S tier yet in the young core list, even though I like it a whole lot. I don't know if I could put them on the 10th level of Orlando, OKC, Houston. Like, I don't think I could put them that level yet. Kings, their headliner is Keegan Murray. After that, you got guys like Kobe Jones, Kessler Edwards, the rookies in this year. I would say Kobe Jones, Jalen Slauson. I think they got to go C, even though I think Keegan is going to be a really good player after that. Again, a lot of guys that maybe could contribute, but not really going to be anything super, super special. So I think I got to put in C. San Antonio, Spurs. Honestly, I think they might be the youngest team in the league. The Spurs only have like 4 or 5 players on their roster that don't qualify. So think of their roster, but the players that don't qualify are Zach Collins, Devontae Graham, Doug McDermott, Cedi Osman. After that, everybody. So you have Victor Wembanyama, Keldon Johnson is still like 23, Devin Vassell, Trey Jones, Malachi Brandon, who I'm a big fan of, Jeremy Sohan, Blake Wesley. They might be S tier. They might be S. But then again, I'm thinking about what I put Portland. Comparing them to Portland's young core, Victor and Scoot. Then you have Anthony Simons or Keldon Johnson. Then you have Shaden Sharp or Devin Vassell. And then after that, after Shaden Sharp, it's like Chris Murray. Then you have Jeremy Sohan. Then after Chris Murray, it might be like, I don't even remember who. But then for San Antonio, you have Malachi Burnham. You have Trey Jones. You have Blake Wesley. Which a lot of the guys are improving, obviously. But I'll put him in S. I think Wemby alone brings them up to S. Just getting him and having him there. But then Keldon, Vassell, like all those guys are really good as well. So yeah. Toronto. For Toronto, their headliners, yeah, Scotty Barnes is the big headliner. And after that, you got Grady Dick, Precious Achiuwa. You got Malachi Flynn is still in there. Gary Trent Jr. still qualifies at 24. I would put him between C and B, comparing them to the other teams. For Sacramento, I think they have Scotty and Keegan. And after Sacramento, their second guy is like Kobe Jones. Then for Toronto, it's Gary Trent. Yeah. Against the Lakers, they might be B. They could potentially be B. I would take all these teams. The only thing really is Scotty. Like, how good is Scotty going to be? Because he had a really good rookie year. Then last year kind of stayed the same. It's really about, if Scotty looks like he's going to be an all-star, then I think I'll put him B. But if Scotty's just going to be a good starter, like player, they're C, you know. And then also a lot of these other guys like Malachi Flynn, Christian Cologne, like those guys are unproven yet. You know, Grady Dick still was question mark pick at 13. You know, so they have a lot of names that could, but it's just like how I think C actually. Now looking at it, I think C is good for them. Utah got some good names. Got Walker Kessler. You got Keontae George, Taylor Hendricks, Bryce Sensabaugh. They're 3 first-round picks from this year. Colin Sexton still qualifies at 24. You got THT qualifies. Ochai Agbaji. Got some good ones. Now, I'm putting them in B. They do have a good collection. I think maybe a little bit more than some of the guys at A, but they're still incomplete. I feel like this year they're gonna have a year where they're trying to get that guy. They don't have the guy. Larry Markin is their guy, but he's 26, and we don't know how long he's gonna be there for. Walker Kessler is gonna be good, but I don't think he's gonna be a superstar. I feel like if they had like a certified guy that I think is gonna be a star, like Indiana, like these guys, like Charlotte has LaMelo, Cleveland has Darius and Evan Mobley, Dallas has Luka, Indiana has Tyrese Halliburton, Memphis has John Jaren, Minnesota has Anthony Edwards, Pelicans have Zion, Portland has Scoot and Simon. Like Utah, their best out of the young core is Walker Kessler, who is good. Don't get me wrong, he's going to be in the league for a long time. Maybe make an all-star team, I don't know. But he's not a proven star-like player, you know. So once they get the guy, they're going to be an A, maybe even S, because I love Ochai Agbaji. Thinks he's going to have a good career. Keontae George, I like him a lot. Taylor Hendricks, I like him a lot. They have a lot of guys I really, really like, and I think are going to be good. It's just they don't have once they get the guy, like maybe they get number 1 and they get Ron Holland or whatever, then I think that's where they jump. And then finally, Washington. Finally, we have Washington. Their headline, Jordan Poole, 24. You got Bilal Coulibaly, the top 10 pick. Danny Avdija. You got Patrick Baldwin, who they got in the Jordan Poole trade. You got Corey Kispert, Johnny Davis. I think they're between B and C for me. They do have Jordan Poole, who's a solidified guy. After that, you got a lot of guys that maybe, like Corey Kispert, Danny Avdija, I think are going to be solid, but we don't know yet. Below Coulibaly, Johnny Davis hasn't proved anything yet. I'll put them in C. I think they're on the level of these guys. Yeah, alright. That's my young core tier list. So here we go. Here's everything at young cores. It's an interesting list. I'm okay with it. Again, this could be all proved wrong once we get into the season, which I don't mind. I don't stand on these, you know? Like, if you have an argument that another team could be higher, lower, you know, I can see it. You know, definitely, I feel like it depends on what you think about young core, how you perceive players, and how you think of things, obviously. So, definitely, I feel like if we gave this list to 20 different people, it would be 20 completely different, you know, answers. You know what I mean? Which is fine. But, yeah, that's going to be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you enjoyed the content, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications to also right there. I really appreciate it. Really helps out a lot. And, yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.